But what I learned is that your compensation is complex and it's unique at every institution you go to. They all have different compensation models and methodologies. And there is absolutely a lack of transparency. So if it feels to you like you don't have all the numbers or you don't have all of the information, it's likely because you don't, and they don't really want to provide that to you. So it's incumbent upon you to get that data so that you can negotiate on a level playing field, apples to apples. It's important to negotiate because women do it less. I see this with the clients in my practice. I see the differences between the way that men take the data, the compensation data, and sort of run with it, and the way that women are, the clients that I work with, they're more hesitant, and there are reasons for that. It's important to know that you've got to advocate for yourself. So when you go in to meet with administration, the hospital CFO or CEO, you're meeting with people who have a business mindset, right? So it's not incumbent upon them to negotiate for you. It's not incumbent upon them to say, hey, do you want to ask for a signing bonus? Do you want to review your compensation? Oh, by the way, your contract has been auto-renewing for 5 years, and maybe we should take a look at your compensation. Proactive health systems will do that, but that's not typically what I see when clients come to me. So just, control your own destiny or someone else will, and you can do this and you should do it, and it's really our responsibility to advocate for ourselves. And one of the most important things I learned when I was dealing with administration and with physicians and really throughout my career in business is that it's important to trust, but to verify. So for instance, when someone says to you, everyone in the department is paid the same, everyone's getting the same compensation, we don't have a gender pay equity problem, your pay is fair, you don't need to look any further into this. What my advice to you would be, sure, you want to trust the people you work with and you want to trust your employers, and that's fine, but verify, and you'll feel better when you verify that that's the case. And you know what? There should be transparency. Everybody should be able to know what's on the table, how your compensation, what is your institution's compensation method? Do they bring you in at the 25th percentile with productivity bonuses, with quality bonuses? What data set are they using? These are important things to know, and that's how you can trust but really verify your compensation. When you compensate for yourself, you get to choose this, and I see this with physicians that I work with. When you make the choice to negotiate for yourself, you will see higher compensation, and you may not get everything that you want, but you will certainly get more than you had, and you're putting administration or your supervisors on notice that you're on it. You're on it, you're gonna verify it, you're gonna push for it. I'm gonna see you at least every 3 years when my contract renews. I wanna know what my productivity is, I wanna know where my benchmarks fall, and I wanna make sure that I'm paid fairly. And when you do that, you will have higher career satisfaction. And that the overall impact with that is less burnout, less turnover, and better patient outcomes. When you bring your full self, when you're completely fulfilled in your work and you bring that into your interactions with your patients, it's just better. We have the data on that. We know that the outcomes are better for physicians that are fully engaged. So, and it's not just about the money, it's about feeling that your effort is being rewarded, that you're being paid fairly. That's just quintessential to that trust building and that collaboration with our employers. So you get to choose this, and I'm telling you that the payoff is absolutely worth it. And for women, it's really important. Women over the course of their careers, over their course of their medical careers, will make $2 million less than their male counterparts. And the 2023 Doximity compensation report just came out, and the gender pay disparity between men and women is $110,000 a year over the course of all specialties. $110,000 a year. So you can see how $2 million, it seems almost unfathomable, but you can see how year after year that accumulates and adds up. And so a 26% gender pay difference in 2023, we can't just normalize this. We need to do something about it. And I think part of it starts in perceptions about negotiation. So surgical residents, I think this is so fascinating, were surveyed and they felt, nobody wants to negotiate. Nobody necessarily, some of us do, but not everybody enjoys negotiating, and nobody really looks forward to it, not men or women. But women were less likely to believe in residency. They were less likely to believe that they had the tools to negotiate. They didn't want to negotiate, and they thought they were going to have to get other offers just to negotiate a fair offer with their current employer. And that's not a great way to go into your first job. That's not a great way to go into this field where you've sacrificed so much. I don't think people who aren't in medicine necessarily stop to think what you've sacrificed to get where you are. Most physicians, I'm sure many of you, didn't really leave fellowship and start your first job, full-time job in medicine until you're 30, 32, maybe older. So for all of those years of your adult life till that point, you're taking on debt, you're taking out loans, you're sacrificing time with family and friends, you're putting off maybe getting married, maybe starting a family. And at that point, I want you to enter your career excited, empowered, having negotiated a contract that you're really, really happy with. And that starts your career off in such a tremendously powerful way. And so what is it? Why do women have a tougher time? We have a tougher time because we're not really socialized to negotiate for ourselves. And part of that is that we're perceived differently when we do. And so if we don't want to upset people, we don't want to appear greedy, sometimes we tend to overthink it when we don't have to. And it's not just medicine. Women start 38% of all companies, yet we get 2% of venture capital funding. And the reason is it was a really pretty fascinating study about what the difference is between how women were interviewed and perceived and how men were. And what they found is that women were asked prevention questions. What happens if you don't get the sales? What happens if the company doesn't grow as fast? Men are typically asked promotional questions. How will you deal with the growth of the company? What if the company grows faster than you thought? So it's not just women in medicine, it's women in general. And what we have to understand is it may be uncomfortable, and someone else may perceive us as aggressive or nasty or abrasive when we ask to advocate for ourselves, but that's on them. That's not on us. And we have to push through the discomfort. And it is uncomfortable. Studies show, this isn't perception, this is reality. Studies show that women can face backlash. They can be fearful about negotiating for themselves. And I do see this difference with my clients. About 30% of my clients are men, and about 70% are women. So male clients have no problem coming and saying, hey, this is my specialty, this is my years in this specialty, these are my RVUs, this is what I'm making, what do I need to negotiate, what's the data? We pull all the data for them, present them the report, and they take that data and they run with it. They don't ask permission, they don't worry about how people are gonna perceive them. It's more of it's an inconvenience and something they're just not looking forward to. But I'm telling you that female clients that I work with, there's fear. There's fear in being perceived as greedy, as bucking the system, and I don't want you to feel that way. And I think the data that's out there can really empower you to push through how it feels and focus on the facts. So there's a mindset that I see in negotiation. These are things that I've heard from clients. I'm supposed to be here to help patients. I'm not supposed to be focused on the money. Is it okay to focus on the money? I don't think I'm being paid fairly, but I'm worried about asking for more. Well, I want you to know that that medicine is a business. It's almost 20% of GDP. So, it is perfectly the administrators that you're working with that are designing your compensation plans. It's based on business models. They went to business school. This is a business. It's okay to do both. You're here for the business of patient care. I should only be focused on the patient, and maybe this is self-centered of me. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not self-centered. What we need is for you to stay in medicine. Your patients need you to be here. We see physicians leaving medicine in droves, especially women. The burnout and turnover epidemic is not only affecting your well-being, it is affecting the whole economy. It is so expensive to lose you when you leave a health system because you're unhappy. So when you advocate for yourself, there's a chance that you'll stay in your position longer, you'll practice longer, you'll be able to see more patients, help more patients. That's why you came to begin with. So it's like being on a plane, oxygen to yourself first before helping others. I want you to take that oxygen so that you can have a long and fulfilling career. And I had a surgeon say to me, a male surgeon say to me a few weeks ago, I have no idea what to ask for. He hadn't negotiated his contract since 2017. He had no idea where he should be. He was below the 25th percentile. He was 60 years old. It was just, it was so gratifying to pull the data for him, to walk him through, what he should be negotiating for. But that phrase, "I'm just flying blind," reminded me that this data isn't readily accessible to you. I mean, I'm an independent consultant with MGMA, and I'm fellowship trained through MGMA. I have the time and the business acumen and experience to do this. That is not what you do in your daily work. It's not what you're supposed to be doing. But we need more transparency so nobody goes into a negotiation feeling like they're flying blind.